Welcome back to Automation Tech Guru. In my last video, we have seen a roadmap to help manual testers a transition from manual testers to automation testers and become an automation expert. And I have started one video series where I have shown you all the core automation tools with practical examples. In last video, we have seen UI automation testing tools. Now we will start with API automation testing tools, and after this video I will create another video for core BDD frameworks. This will give you a chance to start work on automation testing using these tools and become an automation expert. Let's start. So UI automation testing tools part 1 we have completed. In that we have seen Selenium using Python, Playwright using JavaScript, Cypress using JavaScript, Appium using Python, Puppeteer using JavaScript, and UI.Vision. In this video part 2 API automation testing tools, we will see Postman using JavaScript, and Newman CLI for Postman, RestAssured using Java, RestSharp using C#, SoapUI using Groovy, and Karate using Java. And in the next video for the core BDD framework, we will see Cucumber, Specflow, Behave, JBehave, Serenity BDD, Test NG plus Cucumber, and PyTest BDD. So let's start with part 2. Before going to start, I would like to introduce my training program, registration open for manual tester, a transition into automation. This training program is including Selenium with C# basic to advanced 22 hours training program, and it will start from 25th of January 2025 in 2 different batches, weekday and weekend batches. Weekend batch will start 25th Jan and weekday batch will start 27th Jan of 2025. Weekend batch timing will be 9:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. IST, and weekday batch timing will be 8 a.m. IST to 10 a.m. This will be a 2 hours everyday session, and this training program includes Selenium with C# 9 hours basic and advanced topics, POM page object model using Specflow 6 hours, Specflow and BDD framework design, extend report integration 3 hours, RestSharp API automation 4 hours, REST API testing framework. So if you want to join this training program, you need to mail me registration with the subject line @tejpalchannel@gmail.com. So before going to jump into the all the tools, let's understand API basics. So what is an API? An application programming interface allows communicating between software systems. API enables communication between 2 software systems. It defines how different software components interact, making it possible for an application to use functionalities provided by another. Type of APIs: REST, that is a representational state transfer, most commonly used. It is communicates over HTTP using standard methods: get, post, put, delete, and extra. Stateless and use JSON or XML for data exchange. Next is SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol. It is a protocol based relies on XML, more secure but less flexible than REST. GraphQL. It is a flexible query language, allow fetching specific fields instead of entire data set. WebSocket. It enables real-time two-way communication. Key components. Endpoints. So endpoints basically a URL where the API can be accessed. Request sent by a client to perform actions like retrieve data. Response sent by the server containing the requested data or an error message. Body, it's a payload for put and post request. It can be a JSON or XML. HTTP methods define actions like GET to retrieve the data, post to submit the data, put and patch to update the data, delete it required for the remove the data. And headers, metadata passed along with the request like authorization, content type. These are the headers. Authentication secures API with API key, auth token, JWT token, and others. HTTP status code indicates the results of a request, like 200 for success and 404 for not found. So 200 for success, 400 for wait request, 201 is for unauthorized if you are not using any kind of token and the API is required, must have the token. 500, that is the server error. So let's start with the API automation testing tool, Postman. Introduction of Postman. So Postman is a widely used feature-rich tool for API development, testing, and monitoring. It provides a user-friendly interface for designing, documenting, and debugging APIs. Postman simplifies the process of sending HTTP requests, analyzing responses, and automating API workflow, making it an essential tool for developers and QA team. Postman is a collaborative platform for API development that supports the entire API lifecycle. It allows user to build and test APIs, automate testing workflows, generate API documentation, monitor API performance and uptime. Postman supports multiple protocols such as REST, SOAP, and GraphQL, and integrated seamlessly with popular CI/CD tools, making it a versatile solution for API-related tasks. Why use Postman? So first is user-friendly interface. It is a intuitive UI for creating and managing API requests, comprehensive testings. It supports for functional integration and performance testing for API, automation and scripting, automate test cases using JavaScript with pre-request and test scripts, collaborations. So teams can share collections, environments, and workspace for efficient collaboration. Integration, it can work with CI/CD tools like Jenkins, GitHub Actions, and Azure DevOps. Cross-platform, it is available as a desktop application, web application, and browser extension. Key features. So API request builder, easily build HTTP request with support for GET, POST, PUT, DELETE, and so on. Collections, group API request into collections for organized testing and automation. Environment, variables, manage environment variables, development, staging, production using variables, pre-request and test scripts, write JavaScript to manipulate request and validate the response, mock server, simulate API to test application behavior without needing live services, API monitoring, track API performance and uptime with scheduled monitors, documentation, generate API documentation automatically from collections. Step 2, setting up Postman. So download and install Postman. So you can get it from Postman official website, postman.com. So let's go to that postman.com. So Postman, this is the website, and you can click on the download. And once you click on it, it starts the downloading. Let's download this. Okay, next is create an account, sign up to save your workspace, collections and test case. So once it is download, we can install that. Yes, we can click on this. Now it's starting installation. So this is basically a desktop application. So it is asking for the work email. So let me book mine. I don't know if I have already account with it. Let's see. So now it's asking for the create. So if you want to use this, you can just username, password, and you can put and create free account. So let's wait for it. Not now. And open. So it will open with the app also. Yes. So now it's saying it's great to have a on board, and this is the user. Yes. Now it is asking for the name and some more details, which if you want to add, you can just add. I just put age and whatever require you can add. Yes, and then continue. What next here? So yeah, after sign in, familiarize yourself with the Postman interface. So let me show you in here also. So see, workspace, area where all your requests and collections are organized. So this is the workspace, and this is the collection area, where you can, whenever you request and you will get the request and response, it will come to this. Next is collections. So what is the collections? A group of related API request, user and authentication APIs. Then request builder, so interface to configure and send request, test results, displays response status code and time taken, pre-request and test script, that is JavaScript editor for scripting task before after sending request. So you can create a collection, REST API end-to-end testing, whatever you want, right? So let me just create a collection. Yeah, so you can see here gate post put data, it's already coming, and then when you click on gate, you can see this is the URL. You can put the base URL here, and this is actually the full URL, base URL plus the endpoint. And you can see here all the whatever methods you want to use, post, put, patch, delete, head options, all are there. I just showcase everything from here. And next is the parameter. If you want to pass any query parameter, you can see ID, this is the ID, and this is the pass value. So this is the query parameter which we are passing here. If you want to add more, it just add one more. Maybe you can say the name. If I add name, so see, it will be appended to the URL. Next is authorization. So for authorization, you should have the, if you go to the edit, you can see basic auth, bearer token, JWT, all type of tokens can be added from there. Then if you want to add any preview or post script, you can write here JavaScript for this. Then variables, so you can add the variables whatever you want, right? And then run. This is for the test cases, if you want to run all the test cases based on this collection. Next is sending your first API request. So open Postman and click new request. I already added. Enter the details, get method, and if you want to use any kind of post method here, so you just need, what you need to do, you need to put whatever URL you are having here, right? You can put here and it will go to the result. I am just putting let me put the, let's see, it will give error, but how it's working, could not send the request, or maybe you can just we can copy this also. Let's go to the, okay, let me go to this particular URL which is given to here, right? Yeah, next is this one. I don't know if it will work, but for the first to showcase you, let me open this one. So see, I'll now send this. So you can see it's coming as a 200 ID1, and something title and body is coming to this. So this is the way you can create any gate post or any kind of HTTP methods, and you need to send it, and you will get the result in this panel. So it's showing as a JSON. You can see in XML, or if you want to see a raw or HTML, it will show that also. Okay, next is click send and review the response. So we already done that. Organize request into collection. So create a collection, and new collection, add request, date, drag request into that collection. So how to do that? Just go to the Postman. Okay, now you can just drag this, just create a collection, blank collection. You can name to the collection, add a request, and you can just open this one, or you can add this to this collection also. Yeah, this coming to here. Okay, now we can remove this one, delete. So this is the collection, and you have added this one. So one by one you can create a name, or you can edit this and add request, add folder, edit, You can rename whatever you want to do, you can do that from here. Even you can export from here and you can share with someone else. Execute collection. So click run to the execute all the multiple requests. So I showcase here, right? This was the settings script. Yeah, this is the script, right? It is already added by default. And if you right click on the collection, it shows here also, right? Next is automating test in Postman. Writing test script, use JavaScript in the test tab for a request. Example, validate response. See, so as I said, and this is the run option. It will come based on the run collection. So it will ask for the collection and you can run for it. Next is script. So there are two options. Post script is saying already PM test status code is for 200 function. PM request to app status code, you can see the same thing. Okay, if you want to put anything in the pre, you can add that also. And then validate response body. So how you can validate? This is the simple code for the validation, json.title and 2. So you just need to use one by one and it will add. If you put pm dot, it will give you all the intelligence also that can be helpful for you. So this is saying pm dot text, and then you can use pm dot expect, and then inside the expect you can have the cpm test already there, so you can have the pm expect and then json data. So you can see json dot whatever json data is coming from the query from here, so it will post here. So in this way you can write that code also. Next is example settings. Setting variables. So save response data for the future, you can use the pm.environment set. So how you can add the environment? If you go to this you can see no environment. If you click on it, you can create the environment. This is the variable, initial value, current value, and if you want to add from the code, so you can put that code here and it automatically come to this. So if you go there and it can pass to that particular environment variable in the new variable. So if I put a status, okay, now you can see it will come. You need to put some code here, right? In this, then only it will reflect to the variable or environment variable, right? Next is, so it's already given that save response data further constant json response and then pm dot set. This is the post id and json id. So as I say, as I added status, so instead of the post id you can have the status, and then the data will automatically come whenever you run. The json data response will come and based on that id it will reflect here also. Okay, next is parameterize using variable. So define reusable variable for dynamic. So you can see this is the post id, and that post id configure base url and post id. So again you can configure here only. So whatever environment variable you can add, you can put everything here and it can be added. Okay, next is data file. So use csv and json files to run test case with multiple test data. If you want to add any data file. So I think we are in here, right? So if I go to the settings, and you need to pass the data parameter bulk, see, more value, see, it's saying in collection runner select the data file and run. So yeah, if you go to this collection, right, where it is in the collection runner, this is the run. So you can if you want to run this collection, right, you have the option to run from the, see, this is the data file you can put here, select the data file and you can run from here. Okay, next is pre-request script. So pre-request script run before the API request is sent and use them to set headers, tokens or manipulated variables. Okay, generating stamp. So as I said, you just need to put everything in the environment and you can set the values. Setting authorization header. So if you want to put cpm.request.header add, and this is the JavaScript which automatically use authorization. If you want to add manually, what you can do, go to the Postman, put here, and this is the authorization. As I said, you can add it and put here basic auth token, and you can give the username, password, or you can use the barrier token. So you can put the token here, anything, whatever token is there, right? Once it is done, then you can have this authorized, oh sorry, I need to select the authorized token. So it is showing a token. So see, this token is generated by the API, whatever API you are having. Based on that, it generates. So you can put here and it automatically use this for the collection or for a particular request as well. Next is chaining request. So use save variable to pass data between request. So you can save the, see, in the same way you can use this pm.environment.set and auth token, JSON token, everything you can save from here. And use token. So once you add the token, you can use this if you can automate this authorization token, right, variable token. So you can access from the variable token also. So if I go here, right, add it. So instead of using this, you need to use, see, it is given this variable name, whatever variable you can add in the environment, right? So I'm just giving token. Okay, this is the variable token. So something like that, it will come from environment. See, it is saying if you go to the environment variable, it will add from here. Where is the token? Yeah, so it's automatically coming from there if you have added in the variable. Next is running the test in bulk. So I already said told you that open the collection runner and select the collection and folder and specify the environment data and data file. So let me show you this again. So if you want to run anything from this collection or whatever collections you are having, you need to click on this run collection. You need to select the collection from here because we have only one collection, but there are multiple collections can be available. So how you can run automatically, you can schedule or you can automate run via CLI, that I will showcase further after this iteration, how many iteration you want, how much delay you want from the test cases, and select the file, and then you can click on the run new collection. Based on this, it will automatically run all the test requests and give the responses, and if you have a validation, you can validate that also. Next is click start. Okay, now next is generating report. So open the collection runner, install the Newman, and as I said, you can use the CLI tool for the running Postman collections, and for this, run collection via Newman run collection JSON, and you can use report. For that, you need to install the Newman reporter HTML, and then you can create the report as well. Next is CI/CD integration. So GitHub Actions, add a ML by AML workflow to execute Postman test using Newman. So Newman I will explain after this tool. So this will be the YAML file, and that can be used for the executing for through the Newman. Next is Jenkins. So add a build step to the execute Newman command. So you can use Newman run collection JSON -c environment.json, and you can run that. Practical projects. So for the e-commerce API, you can test product search, add to cart, and checkout API. You can use the user management tool or APIs like validate user creation, updating, or deletion. Like that, you can create small projects for the practice in the Postman. Or you can use this weather API, validate response for different cities, and verify data structures. So in this way, you can create some test APIs or example APIs, and you can run on the Postman. So next is Newman, that is the CLI for the Postman. So what is the Newman? Newman is the common line interface, that is CLI for Postman, a popular tool for API testing, while Postman itself offers a user-friendly graphical interface. Newman allows for executing the same Postman collections via the command line. This is especially useful for automation, continuous integration, running test in batch mode. Newman is a command line collection runner for Postman, the popular automate Postman collection. Newman allows you to run and automate Postman collections and environments from the terminal and integrate them into the CI/CD pipeline. It is especially useful for teams that rely on Postman for API testing but need a scalable way to execute tests programmatically. With Newman, API tests can be integrated into automated workflow, allow developer and testers to validate API in continuous integration or continuous delivery CI/CD environment. Why use Newman? So automation, run Postman collections automatically as a part of CI/CD pipeline. Cross-platform, it can work on any platform with Node.js installed. Seamless Postman integration directly executes Postman collections and environments. Customizable reports, generate test reports in various formats including JSON, HTML, and JUnit. Easy debugging, provides detailed log for test execution. Key features. So collection runners execute Postman collections exported in JSON format. Environment support, run collections using a specific Postman environment. Command line interface, it executes directly from the terminal. It can be integrated with the CI/CD tool like Jenkins, GitHub, and Azure DevOps. Custom reporting, so it supports ZYT reporting or custom reporting format. So how we can set up the Newman? So for that you need to install the Node.js and npm. And Newman is built on Node.js, so you need to have the Node.js and npm installed on your machine. Check if Node.js installed, you can check that. If not, download the Node.js from the nodejs.org. Install Newman. Once Node.js is installed and npm installed, you can install Newman globally using following command. You can use the Newman, and then verify installation. After installation, you can run the command Newman -v. Next is exporting Postman collections. So Newman runs Postman collections, so that first step is to be export your collection from the Postman application. Open Postman, launch, and then export collection. Find the collection you want to export, and then click the three dot next to the collection name and export. So let me show you where the collection is. So you can see, you can, sorry, this is the three line, and you can have the option for the export. Okay, this is the collection version 1 or 2, whatever you want, right? And then choose the collection version, format, and save the file your computer. So once you can export, it will ask for the save in your machine. Okay, then next is running Postman collection with Newman. So once you have exported your collection, you can run it using the following command from the terminal, that is Newman run mycollection.json, and mycollection.json is the path to the exported collection file. So where you are saving your file on your desktop or on your machine, you can just select this path. Okay, Newman will execute the request in the collection and display the results in the terminal. And so how it will come the output? The output will show each request has executed, the HTTP status code for each request, and whether the session passed or failed. So everything will come once you export and execute from the Newman. Next is using environment variable with Newman. So in Postman you can create environment variable to define variable such as API key, URL, authentication details, and Newman support the use of the environment as well. So how you can do that? Export the Postman environment. So in Postman, go to the environment. So go to the environment. This is the new environment. Okay, yeah, this is already open here, and you can go to this and export. So in the same way, it can export the environment also. .json. Okay, next is run the collection with your environment variable. When running the collection with Newman, you can pass the environment file like this. So same way, Newman run my collection minus -e my environment JSON. So this will be the collection path, and this will be the environment JSON path. This will load the variable from environment JSON and use them in API request. So whatever environment variable you have defined, that can be utilized in the collection with the collection. Next is adding data to Newman test, DDD, data driven testing, DDT. So data driven testing is a key component of automation, and Newman allows you to pass external data, that is CSV or JSON file, to your API test. So how you can do that? Running tests with the CSV file. So for that you need to prepare the CSV file and create CSV file contain the test data such as data.csv, and first row should contain the column name, ID, name, whatever you want to pass from to the API. And then so you can see CSV ID, name, data 1 2 3, and the name and age. So based on your API request, whatever data is required for your API, based on that you can create the CSV file. Adding data to Newman test. So run the collection with the with the CSV file, use the D flag -D flag to specify the path of the CSV file. Newman will loop through the data and run the test case for each row. So how you can do that? Newman run my collection.json. This is the JSON file which you have created for the collection from the Postman, and then -D data file. This will iterate over each row in the CSV and passing the value as a variable into the Postman request. So instead of using environment variable, you can directly use the data.csv. Example of using data in Postman request. In Postman, you can reference these variable using variable name syntax, like you can use JSON ID name age. Okay, Newman will replace ID name age with the corresponding value from the CSV files. Okay, now adding the assertion in Postman. So Postman allow you to write assertion to verify the response from the API as expected. When running collections with the Newman, these assertions will also be executed. So common assertions you can add status code, that is, it's all I already showed you in this, right? Let me show again in the Postman. See, when you put this, right, and in the script you can see this is for the status code. In the same way you can put any other also response time. So for that you can have the PM response dot to have response time below 200. Adding assertion in the Postman. For the response body, you can use the response to have JSON body user.name that is equal to John. So whatever name you have passed with the username in the JSON body, in the response, whatever is coming is the user.name. When you run Newman, it will report whether these assertions pass or fail. So you have to write the assertion in the code. It will go with the collection, and when you run that collection through the Newman, you will get the response, whether it is pass or fail, and you can get the report. Creating report. So Newman provides several ways to generate report, which can be useful for CI/CD pipeline and analysis. So for generating report, to generate the generate HTML report, you need to use the Newman run collection -r HTML. So it will generate the report based on your assertions. This will create a Newman folder with an HTML report that you can open in any browser. Generate generate JSON report. You can also generate a JSON report to analyze results programmatically or to integrate with other system. For that you can use the -r JSON. This will create a Newman folder containing Newman run report.json file with detailed information about test results. So this JSON will created for the reporting, and you can use, and you can create your own report based on your programming. JUnit report. JUnit is a popular format for CI/CD tool like Jenkins. You can generate JUnit XML report with like Newman run new collection.json -JUnit -r JUnit. This will produce a Newman folder with the Newman run report.xml file in the JUnit format. Next is scheduling and automating with Newman. So Newman is designed to be used in automation, especially for CI/CD like Jenkins. So integrate with Jenkins, you need to install Jenkins. Install again, you need to install Node.js and npm for your Jenkins server. Install Newman globally using Jenkins. You can use this same command, and then configure Jenkins. Create a freestyle project in Jenkins, and in the build section add the execute shell build step to run your Newman command like Newman run my collection JSON HTML CLI. This will run your collection on every build and generate reports. Scheduling test. You can schedule your tests to run periodically using Jenkins or other CI/CD tools, enabling continuous API testing. Advanced features. For the advanced feature in Newman, you can have the global variables. You can set global variables using flag like -g global variables.json. So you can create a JSON as a global variable, and you can set as a -g global variable. Environment specific URL. So use different environment or different stage like dev, test, staging, prod. You can create multiple environments in Postman, pass them to the Newman like this. So you just need to create a multiple JSON based on your environment, and you can pass in the command for the run. Environment variables for sensitive data. You can use environment variable to store sensitive information like API key, security key, or API secrets and API key, right? So Newman will automatically handle these values during the test execution. Next is RestAssured. So we will see the RestAssured using Java. So what is the RestAssured introduction? RestAssured is a Java-based library that simplifies the process of testing and validating RESTful APIs. It provides a powerful set of RestAssured set of tools to create, send, and validate HTTP requests and responses. RestAssured is widely used for API testing due to its simplicity, flexibility, and integration with a popular testing framework like JUnit and TestNG. It is an open source that enables users to perform REST API testing with minimal setup. It is designed to make it easy to send API request, validate response, handle common tasks like authentication, headers, and query parameters. RestAssured simplifies the process of writing and running automated API tests, ensuring that API behave as expected. Why use RestAssured? So simple syntax. Syntax are very clean and simple to write the API test. Fluent API channel methods make it easy to write and read test scenarios. Comprehensive validation supports validation of status codes, response body, header, cookies, and more. Ease of integration, seamlessly integrated with popular Java testing framework like JUnit, TestNG, and Cucumber. Support authentication, built-in support for the authentication schemes like basic, auth, or digest. Automatic serialization and deserialization, handle JSON and XML response, payload simplifying, parsing, and validating. Key features. So HTTP request methods, it supports all the HTTP request methods like get, post, put, delete, and more. Response validation, you can validate your response code, headers, response body using simple assertions. Parameter and authentication, it can be easily send the parameters and query parameters and headers with the request. It supports authentication schemes such as basic authentication, auth token, bearer token, and so on. JSON path and XML path. So simplifies method to extract data from JSON XML response. So you can get the response in JSON as well as the XML format. Logging and reporting. So log request and response for debugging along with the detailed report. BDD support. RestAssured support with supports behavior driven development, that is BDD style, with given when then keywords. So how we can set up the RestAssured? For that you need to install the JDK, that is Java Development Kit. Download and install from the Oracle website. So let's go to the, now I just close this one, and JDK, you can search for it and download the JDK from this website. Okay, so whatever you want you can just download from here in Windows, right? So these are the installer for the JDK. Next is install the integrated development environment. So for this you can use the IntelliJ IDEA, or you can use the Eclipse for the coding. So you can use Eclipse. Okay, I don't have that, but if you want you can use Eclipse download for Windows. From here you can download the Eclipse as well. Yeah. Next is set up the Maven project. So create a Maven project in your ID, add RestAssured dependency, add the following dependency to pom.xml file. So what you can add, this is the XML dependency group ID, that is io.RestAssured, and this is a version. Then you can use the org.testng, and this is the version. So you can add this RestAssured as well as testng. Writing your first RestAssured test. So basic GET request, how you can put it, import io RestAssured. You need to just import all the required DLLs or namespaces from the for the RestAssured, and then you can write RestAssured.view base URL. You can pass this URL given when then get this URL, then assertion that status code dot body ID equal to 1, and title is something null value or whatever is coming, right? Then writing advanced code for the RestAssured. So setting of base URL and base path. So how to do that? So define the global property to avoid redundancy. You can use the RestAssured.base URL and then RestAssured.base path. Next is request specification. Define common request configuration. So how you can do that? Request specification, new request, spec builder, dot set base URL. This is the base URL. Add header, content type application JSON dot build. So this will create your common request. Next is get request with query parameter. So how you can pass that? So given query parameter user ID 1, get post, then assert that status code 200, body size generator greater than 0. Next is post request with body. So how can you can post this? So string request body, then title body, and then user ID. This is the request body. You can pass given body post assertion. Next is put request for the updating data. So how you can do that? You can use the update body, title equal to update title, and then it will update the title. Delete request. So for delete you can use directly delete post equal to 1 assertion that status code 200, because once you delete that, the status still come without response 200. So parameterization and reusability using external data. So integrate with the external data source like Excel or JSON for the test data. So how you can do that? You can use the parameterized test with the testng, and you need to import this org testng annotation data provider and test. For that you can use @data provider name as user ID and an object return new, and create user data, and it will return as a new object. Then you can see test data provider user ID. Then this is the data which you are passing through the given, and then based on that it will get the post and then assertion. Authentication in RestAssured. So basic authentication, how you can use that? So for that authentication.basic username password, get secured endpoint status code, bearer token, given header authentication bearer, your this will be your bearer token, and then it will give you the secured endpoint and then status code 200. Assertions and for the example assertions, you can use status code then dot status code. For body field, you can use then body title equal to whatever title you are passing, or it's coming in the response time. You can use then time less than 200. Header validation, so you can use then dot header content type application JSON, and then this is for the job already done. Next is organizing test using test-ng. So setup and tear down. So how can you use the setup and tear down method? So before class you can use public void setup, RestAssured base URL, and after class you can use the cleanup logic for the cleanup. Okay. Next is test and shoot group related tests and execute them as a shoot also. Reporting with the RestAssured. Integrate report, extend report. So generate the HTML report for the test execution. You can use the extend report in that. Test-ng default report. You can use the view test summaries in the default test-ng reports also. CI/CD integration. So you can use the Jenkins, add the Maven build-up step, run RestAssured test using Maven MBN test. GitHub actions, you can create ML workflow to execute the test for every commit. And for practice projects, you can use the e-commerce API testing or user management API testing. Based on these projects, you can learn more in the RestAssured. And if you want to learn more, or you want me to create any video on RestAssured with Java, just comment out. I will create another video for RestAssured, full-fledged video with all the coding styles and with all the HTTP request methods also. You can use the weather API for practice projects also. Next is RestSharp. So RestSharp is a popular open source. So RestAssured is basically used with the Java. So as compared to RestAssured, you can use RestSharp with the .NET. So it is an open source .NET library for interacting with API, RESTful API. It simplifies the process of making HTTP requests and handling responses, providing a rich set of features for get, post, put, delete, and other HTTP methods. RestSharp is particularly useful in test automation and API integration tasks, allowing developers to easily integrate web services into their .NET application or testing framework. It provides a simple, intuitive way to send HTTP request, handle responses, manage parameters, and perform authentication. RestSharp abstracts away many complexities of working with HTTP requests, making it easier to consume API and build automated tests for API endpoint. Why use RestSharp? Easy to use, simply and intuitive API for making HTTP requests. Flexible HTTP methods. It supports all the HTTP methods. Serialization and deserialization. It automatically serialize and deserialize JSON, XML, and other content type. It supports for authentication, built-in support for common authentication, including basic auth, bearer token, and digest. Automatic handling of parameters, easily pass parameters in header, query, strings, and request bodies. Integration with testing frameworks, works well with XUnit and Unit MS Test for API test automation. Asynchronous support, asynchronous request, ideal for a scalable application. Next is key features. So easy to use. RestSharp offers a simple and easy to understand API for interacting working with RESTful services. It integrates with the .NET framework, works seamlessly with the .NET ecosystem, including AnyUnit, MS Test, and SpecFlow for writing automated tests. Supports all HTTP methods, handles get, post, put, delete, and other HTTP methods with minimal setup. Flexible authentication supports various authentication mechanism including basic auth, OAuth, custom headers. Extensive documentation, well documented library making it easier for tester to learn and use. Setting up the environment. So download and install Visual Studio, and let me show you from where you can download. So you just need to go to the Visual Studio. Visual Studio, Microsoft Visual Studio, can go to this, and you have 3 different version. This is the free download for community version. If you want professional, you can use the trial, or for the enterprise also 1 month trial may be available for you. After that you need to pay for the license. So you can install from here, and then you can create a new .NET from projects. So if you want to see more videos in it, let me show you here in my videos also. Here you can see RestSharp. So there are multiple videos I have created. I can go with the channel. Let me show you the channel here. And you can go to videos or playlist. You can see the playlist also available. So I will show this. Start. See, you can see RESTful API testing framework. So this is the full playlist available. I already created for the C#. There are 2 videos which I have added, part 1 and part 2, and I will add more more to it. Or if you want to see other than this, there are again, yeah, you can see these are also playlists. You can see here API REST API automation framework using C# for the beginners. So you can see there are multiple videos I have already created in it. You can go through these videos, and you can create your own framework using the REST API, for the REST API using RestSharp. Still you want, yeah, I can create another video with all the steps. It's already there in these videos. If you go through these video, you can find. Okay. So once you install the Visual Studio, you need to install the RestSharp, and then making your first API call with RestSharp. Simply get request you can use. This is the get request. You can use a client, new client, get REST client, then request response client.execute. You can pass the request and you will get the response. You can check the status code and body, content body. Making so in the above example, REST client is for the initializing the base URL for API. REST request basically represent the request like get post method, and execute sends the request to the server and return the response back. Handling different HTTP methods with RestSharp. For get, you can use this variable request equal to new request /post get method, and for post, for sending data such as creating resource on the server, we use post. For that you need to create a request body. So you can use the rest.json body, and this is the JSON body for this, and this is the method you can use as a post. Next is put request. For put, you can have the same JSON body with the put method. For delete, you can use simply delete method. You can pass the post and the id and response.client execute, and it will get the response with success. Adding headers and parameters. So how you can add the headers. So you may need to send custom headers, authentication, content type. You can, for that you can use add header, authorization, bearer token, or content type application. It is the same way which you can written in RestAssured also. For query parameter, you can use the add query parameter. And working with the JSON response. So RestSharp can handle JSON responses and parse them easily. To work with the response, you can use libraries like Newtonsoft JSON for deserialization. Install Newtonsoft JSON via NuGet. So for that you need to install the Newtonsoft JSON via NuGet package. And for deserialization, you can use Newtonsoft.json, and you can use this post JSON convert.gserialize object and post response.content. So it will convert in a, it will deserialize the data from the JSON. Working with the JSON response, so you can see for that post is a class, so you can use the class post. You can see, again I will show you. This is the post class and how it looks. Classes id, get set. It's just having the getter and setter, id and title and body. Validation, validating responses. So how we can validate status code validation. So you can use the if response code is status code equal to http request okay, then it is success. Content, for content you can use the content title. You can pass the title also. JSON body validation using JSON.NET. You can use JSON convert deserialize object and then post id is equal to 1, then it is correct. Organizing test using NUnit or MS test. For that you need to install NUnit package or NUnit 3 adapter. So everything is I already explained in my videos based on the RestSharp for API testing. And write test using the NUnit. You can write the test case, write setup client, REST client, and then next is you can use the get post by should return correct post. So this is the session assert.r equal status code equal to response code, and is true the content title. Okay, so you can run directly from Visual Studio or .NET test from the command line. Let me show if I am having here any project with the rest. I'm just opening the Visual Studio, and if I'm having API automation, okay, it's already there. Let me open this one. Just wait for some time. Okay, next is authentication in RestSharp. So how we can do this? So for that you can add header, authorization basic, and you can pass the basic bearer token. And if you want to use the bearer token, you can use the bearer token also. Next is data driven testing with the RestSharp. So you can use the test case or data row for data driven test in NUnit. How you can do that? Running tests with the different data, you can pass this. Add the query parameter user id, then assert. You can use this You can see test case 1, test case 2, test case 3. This is the ID, and this is passing based on the user ID. It's taking so time. Let's open this until we will go through this. Running API test with the CI/CD integration. So how you can run with that? You can integrate with the Jenkins, add the build step to run your test using NUnit or MS test in Jenkins. Run the test using the .NET test commands in Jenkins. GitHub actions. Create a ML file. This is the ML file for that. It is basically installed for the dependency and run in the with the Jenkins. Okay, now you can see. So I have created for this. Let me open the solution. Okay, this is for the BDD framework only, not for the API. So let me show you the packages. RestSharp, Speculo, NUnit, then NUnit adapter, NUnit. So these are the some and I'm still add to API for this. This is just for the BDD. Let me show you if I am having another one. Recently project REST API test. Okay, let me open this one. So again, you can have the practice project for e-commerce API, user management, or weather API. Based on that, you can create later some coding in the RestSharp using C#. Let me open this if it is opening. Okay, I'm not started this. It is having the same. Okay, next is SoapUI. So introduction. SoapUI is a widely used open source tool for testing and validation. That is simply object access protocol and RESTful web services. It is known for its robust capabilities in API testing, providing a range of features for functional security performance testing for of web services. This also don't have anything. I just added the packages in it. So let's close this. SoapUI is ideal for developers, testers, quality assurance team who need to ensure that their web services meet functional and performance standards. SoapUI is a powerful testing tool for web services, allow user to send a request to API, validate response, and simulate various scenarios. It is designed to help automate testing, seamless process checking, checking the functionality, security, and performance web services. It supports both SOAP and REST API and provide a user-friendly interface for creating tests without requiring any extensive programming knowledge. Why use SoapUI? It is comprehensive testing, so support both functional and non-functional testing, security, performance, and for the web services. User-friendly interface provide an intuitive graphical interface that make it easy to create, execute, and analyze tests. Test automation automates API tests and integrates well with CI/CD pipeline. Cross-platform works across different operating systems, Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. Comprehensive reporting generates detailed and easy to understand reports for test results, making it easier to track progress and results. Extensibility supports scripting for advanced testing scenarios using Groovy and integrates with other tools like Jenkins. Key features: support for SOAP and REST both. So it is a good tool for REST and SOAP both. Allow testing for both APIs with full support of various protocol like HTTP, HTTPS, JMS, JDBC, and MQ. Request response simulation. It simulates API request and handles responses in different format including XML, JSON, and HTML. Test automation. Automate your API test to run periodically or as part of a CI/CD pipeline. Advanced security testing. SoapUI has built-in security testing features such as SQL injection, XSS cross-site scripting, and visual scanning to help identifying vulnerability in web services. Load and performance testing. Perform load tests to measure the performance and scalability of APIs. Simulate heavy load scenarios to identify bottlenecks. Data-driven testing performs tests with different set of data to validate API against various scenarios. Scripting and Groovy support. Use Groovy scripts to extend functionality and implement custom logic in your test. Integration with CI/CD tools. Integrate SoapUI with tools like Jenkins to execute tests as a part of a continuous integration pipeline. Installing and setting up SoapUI. Download and install. So how you can do that? You can, after downloads from this website, you can go for the SoapUI, and you can download SoapUI from here. Okay, so this will give you the two Ready API and SoapUI open source. You can use this one. This is the free version. I think I already installed. No, it is not installed in my machine. But if you want, you can install from here. Download this SoapUI open source. So it start downloading, and then after installation you can creating the project. So let me open this first. Yeah, this is opening. So wait for the installation. Okay, so you just need to do the next. You can have the tutorial source, and you can just click on that and it will install. Now you can see this is finished. Installation is completed. Now it will open. This is the file, and let me open. I thought it will launch, but it is not. So let me open from here. So you can see here, this is the, yeah, you can remove this, and you can see here you can create a empty project, so project or rest project you can import from any existing project. And if you want to add anything, you can, let me open this rest, or you can create soap. So let me create soap first. So it will ask for the project name and some WSDL file. So if you have a WSDL file, you can create the project test. You can see, but I don't have any WSDL file, but still it will create here. Or if you have a WSDL file, you can add WSDL from here. You can import from the Swagger also. So since we don't have a WSDL file here, right, that's why it is coming like this. If you click on this, it will ask for the add. Or if you go to this view the project view, so let me show you here. So since you don't have a WSDL file, it is coming blank, right? You can add the test, some security configuration. Until unless you don't have a WSDL file, you cannot add anything here. So you can see, enter the WSDL file, web service definition language for SOAP service, and then it automatically load WSDL file and generate the request. So it is generating automatically, but you don't have it. So if you want to create any test, right, you can create test shoot. In that you can have the test case, description, property setup. You can have this project property and custom properties also. When you expand this, right, you can have this. You can add the test case, new test case. You can add the test case as well. So this is the test case. In this you can have the test step. For this you should have the SOAP request. So you don't have the SOAP request, that's why it's not coming. You can have the REST request, HTML, JDBC, GraphQL, or you can have the Groovy script as well. So if you want to add Groovy, you can write the Groovy here. Okay. Next is, so you can create a SOAP. Let me open this for you, so it will give you some idea. Okay, this is given. This just for the example. So let me show you if it can work. SOAP project name test1, and this is the WSDL. Okay, now open. So it will search for that, and you can see it is already having this request. You can click on this. See, this is the request, and this is for the Fahrenheit Celsius request. So if you pass, you can send this, you can get the response. And this is the XML, and this is the XML for response. It is coming as an error. And when you right click on it and go to the project view, you can see this is the WSDL file and all the requests are listed. In this you can click on this, or yeah, it's coming here, and based on that you can create the test cases also. Yeah, exploring the SoapUI project explorer. Display all the requests and test shoot for the project. Request editor allow you to define parameter header and the body. Test steps, you can add the test steps in it, And then basic SOAP and REST, you can use the SOAP request. So how you can that do that? This is the request, this is the response. In the request you can have the authentication, you can add the authentication from here. If it is a basic, you can add this. Based on that you can use the username, password. Okay, and you can have the header. If you want to add any header, you can use id. Suppose I'm adding the id, you can add the id and value. You can pass the attachment. Even you can use this web addressing related or any JMS properties also. So these are the some settings which you want to add, you can add here. Okay, also you can have this SOAP log. So whatever you are doing in here, all the logs are coming from here, and based on this you can create the report also. You can see it is coming to the export to the file, or you can write the Groovy script to get this info. Okay, then for the rest also you can use the same thing, and then you can have the assertion. So for the assertions, you can have the basic assertion. After send request, click assertion table tab. So where is the assertion tab? You can click on this request, right? Maximize this. Okay, we don't have any test steps here, right? So the request editor. Okay. Yeah, select the session and then for the response. I don't know, it's not showing anything here. Clone test mock. HTML header attachment. It should give something here. I don't know, it's just not giving anything. Okay, so right click on the request and test step panel, choose the add assertion and select the HTTP status test steps. So let me show here. This is the test step. Sorry, this is the test step. Okay, we have not added any test case here, that's why it's not showing. Add to the test case. Yes, yes. Okay, now you can see here. So this is the test case is added, and you can right click and open the editor. Yeah, this is the assertion. So you can add the assertion, and based on your requirement you can add the assertion. Enter the expected status code, and then you can add. You can also have the advanced assertion for SOAP API. Use XPath to validate the response XML. And for XPath path, you can use the expression response or status code. Then for scripting, support the Groovy scripting, which is useful for the advanced automation tasks like dynamic data generation or external service call. So for that you can add step Groovy script, and then you can add this kind of script for the dynamic values. So if you want to use the Groovy script, you should know that how you can write the script. And for the data driven, you can use the Excel or CSV file also as an external, and you can extract the data using Groovy script, and you can use that in the request or response validation. So create a data source to step add the data source. So how you can add that, let me show you. So this is the step. You can use test case, right click, or sorry, here you can add steps. So these are the steps you can add. SOAP request, then property transfer, run test, Groovy script, and then you can add this in the Groovy script. You can right click, data source, why it is not coming, okay, add a step, launch, export, clone, disable, it is not giving a data source name, misconnection, manual test step, SOAP test, property, this is for the data source, the DVC you can use for that. Or you can have the add data source to your test step, define the data source Excel, but it is not giving any option. Insert a step, but there is no option to it. Test editor, same thing is coming from here also. Property, tear down, tier setup, okay. Data source can be added to it. Automating the test cases. So creating test case, right click on project and select the new test shoot. Within the test shoot, create the test case, and then add multiple test steps such as request sending, assertion, and Groovy script. Running test case, you can execute the individual test case. So if you want to run, you just need to click on it and you can run from here. See, so we have not added anything in the Groovy, so that's why it's not coming anything. SoapUI will display the result in the log panel where you can review. I already showed you. And integration with the SoapUI with the Jenkins. So for that you need to install the SOAP command line runner. How you can do that? Download the SOAP command line runner, and this allow you to run SOAP task as a part of your continuous integration pipeline. For Jenkins setup, you can use the Jenkins configure this using this command, and then you can automate the test execution, schedule the Jenkins job to run at a regular interval on trigger after each commit. Performance and load testing. So you can see here it is showing that load testing and security testing also. So this is for the new load test. If you want to add any, you can add new load test. So this is for the load testing. Create load test, you can right click on test case and select new load test. Configure the load test by setting parameter as a number of virtual user, duration, and the type of load. Then for performance, run the load test and monitor the performance. So when you run this, and you can monitor the performance also. See, so in this way you can use the load test also, and performance testing also you can do. SoapUI will provide performance metrics including response time error and throughput. You can see minimum, test case, everything is given here, right? Next is porting and analysis. So SoapUI reporting, yeah. So this is basically for the after running the test case, UI generate the report in both XML and HTML format. So use the report tab using view summary of the test case. So where is the report tab? This is the test case. We have run this. Load assertion. Okay, this is the load. We can close this. Description property. We have run this, right? You can see HTML log, JT errors, memory log, script log. So it is giving everything, and you can use this as a export to the file, right? But wait, it is reporting. For custom reporting, you can integrate with the Jenkins, and if you want to explore more in SoapUI, right? So learn about security testing and penetrate testing, and get familiar with the mocking API using mock service feature. Integrate with the other tools. It will integrate with Selenium for end-to-end API automation, UI automation. Okay, so this is the SoapUI. Now next is Karate. It is using Java. So introduction. Karate is also an open source for test automation framework designed for the testing web service API and microservices. Built on top of the Cucumber, Karate use the DSL, that is domain specific language, to write tests, making it simple and concise. It combines API testing, UI testing, and performance testing into a single framework, allow testers and developers to automate complex scenario with ease. It is a it is a unified testing framework that allows user to test REST single DSL. It simplifies lies in the fact that it eliminates the need for writing boilerplate code or complex test logic by providing out of the box capabilities for mocking, data driven, and parallel execution. Why use Karate? All in one framework. It supports API performance and UI testing. Easy to use DSL, write test in simple readable syntax without needing write any code. Data driven testing, easily parameterized tests with the data from files. Built-in mocking, and then parallel execution. Run tests in parallel for test faster execution. Cross-platform, work with any language or platform that support HTTP. Key features: gherkin syntax. So use a gherkin language that is given and then syntax. API testing built-in support for REST, SOAP or Graph QL API. UI testing integrate with the Playwright for web UI. Assertion provide powerful JSON and XML assertions. Performance testing integrate with the Gatling for load testing, mocking and stubbing. Create and host mock servers for API testing. CI/CD integration works well with tools like Jenkins, Maven, and Gradle. Next is setting up the Karate. So basically it is based on the Java, so you need to install the Java framework, and also you can use the Eclipse. Install Maven. You can use Maven to manage dependency and build project. And for ID you can use IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse for the Java. Creating project. So create a Maven project in the IDE. Create a new Maven project and choose the Java as a project language. You can use the Karate dependency. For that you have to use a form.xml file and dependency based on this, like intuitive karate core, and version is 1.3, and for the scope is test. And this is the dependency for the JUnit. So Karate core library contains the core functionality of Karate, while Karate JUnit 5 allow Karate test to run with JUnit 5. Add the Maven plugin also for the optional for running tests from Maven. If you want to run test cases in Maven, then you can use the plugin also. For that plugin, you will need to write this code. The plugin, Karate Maven plugin 1.3.0, and then for test for the execution. Run Maven to install dependency, you need to use the ambient clean install. Next is writing your test case. So Karate uses feature files for writing tests which are plain text using the working language. So you can see testing REST API with Karate. Create a test feature file, create folder name, source features, and you can use the project directory, and in this folder you can create a new file, API test feature. Write the test case. So sample will be the testing RestSharp, and scenario get all post, and given URL, this is the URL, you can get the post, and then status, and match response equal to 1 and match response title equal to this. So given basically set for the API, when it define the HTTP method, then it asserts the status code 200 and multiple assertions. Here it matches the first item in the response to ensure it has expected ID and title. Okay, next is running your Karate test. Using Maven, you can run the test. You can run your test using Maven executing following command in from the terminal Maven test, and it automatically executes all the feature tests from the file or from the project. Using IDE, you can use the Eclipse, and for that you need to run from the JUnit. Right click on the API test feature and select Run Karate to execute the test directly from the IDE. Assertion. So for the status code, you can use then status 200 for the response body. You can use then match title equal to this, and for JSON you can use the match header type. Testing different HTTP method. For post, you can for the sending scenario, you can use the given URL at the request, then method post, then status, then match response body. We can send the post request with the JSON body, and then next is testing with a post request, put request. So how you can do that? You can use this scenario, update the existing data, title, request, method is put, and title will be this. For delete also you can use delete a post, pass 1, and then method is delete. Data driven testing with Karate. So Karate also allows you to scenario outline to run the same test with different set of data. For that you can use feature, and this is the example. This will run the same test case with the IDs 1 2 3 if you have a 3 also. Integration with the Jenkins. So for the CI/CD pipeline, for that you can use the install Maven install in Jenkins server, and create Jenkins job, and configure source code management, link your repository, git SBN or anything containing the Karate test. Build commands. In the build step you can add Maven clean the test, then run test on Jenkins. Jenkins will execute the test automatically whenever a new change is committed to the repository. Next is advanced Karate feature. You can use the parallel test execution. For that you need to use the config.js file and run in the test case across multiple thread. Mocking with Karate. So Karate has built-in support for mocking REST API. You can define mock server to simulate real API behavior during testing. It can also integrate with the Cucumber syntax to the similar syntax to the Cucumber, which means you can use Cucumber style hooks, tags, and other features for organized test cases. So these are the API automation testing tools, where we have seen 6 different tools. Started with Postman, then Postman UI for the CLI of the Postman, then RestAssured with the Java, and RestSharp with C#. Then after we have seen SoapUI and Karate. So I hope you like my videos. Please like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you.